what happens when the Maffetone method stops working for you? At what point do you pivot? At what point do you just pack it in and say, okay, this is not working anymore. We got to do something different. Today I'm going to give you 5 points to know when you need to make a change if you're going to keep seeing improvements using the Maffetone method. I realized that the Maffetone method stopped working for me when I had been doing my MAF tests and I wasn't seeing significant improvements. Look, at the beginning, you start training and it works. But the thing is as time went along, month after month after month, it worked so well that I thought, heck, this could be the thing I could do all the time. But then I started to notice the results started to slow down. The improvements weren't coming as fast as they once did. And I started to panic. I was like, okay, if this isn't the end all and be all, what am I gonna do? How is this gonna work out? I didn't want to get injured again. That was the first realization that, yeah, something did need to change. The second realization that I had to make some changes with my Maffetone method training occurred in the summertime when I found myself eating a lot of processed food. You see, I like barbecues, but I'm vegan. So that's a little hard to do with just regular beef, because I don't like it. It doesn't sit well with me. So I started having a lot of Beyond Burgers. I started having a lot of, Rattlers. I started to have, more donuts. Started to have a lot of stuff that came in boxes. And that to me was sign number 2, because even though I was running, I just wasn't seeing the results anymore. My clean eating kind of went out the window, and that wasn't good for my running. The third realization that my MAF training had stopped working was I started to feel a little burned out. Yeah, I know. You can burn out using the Maffetone method because, man, I was running so much. I realized that if you continuously do the same thing over and over and over again, there will reach a point of diminishing returns. Your body adapts to what you're throwing at. And so just running 10K every day or whatever it was, it just wasn't enough. So I realized that if I wanted to see more improvements, my schedule of what I had on tap to run, my training needed to change with regards to distance. Now, I only have so much time in the day, but when I started using this method, I had all the time in the world because the world was coming to an end. Well, that's the feeling I got anyways. So I knew that I couldn't continue to increase my mileage because I was already running so much. So there was that realization that if I don't have any more time, what else can I do to keep improving? So I started to look at a number of options, and then that's when my buddy Steve Hunter reached out to me and he asked me, hey dude, do you want to go to the track and do some 800s? I was like, oh god, no. Last one, better make it good. That hurt. That was hard. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna puke. Oh, that was good though. There was times where I felt like I was stuck. Like I couldn't really change what I was doing. I found myself, I was getting bored and I was just not enjoying the process anymore. I actually wanted to run with friends. I wanted to actually get on the trail, and I wanted to, I don't know, I just wanted something different. So when my brain started wandering, that was a big pivotal point that I knew that that something was up. Getting bored of doing the same thing over and over, yeah, that would be really high up on the list. The realization that this was a phase. It was a building phase. It was a phase, it was part of a building block. The Maffetone method is not meant to be done continuously. There's a right time and a right place for it. But after a period of time, there was the realization that you got to allow your body to absorb what you're putting into it. That's why you don't like work out every day on your arms or your legs or your biceps. You have to allow for recovery. Yes, Maffetone method is easy, but when you continuously run longer and longer, you're gonna have to give your body the time to recuperate. We all know the great things about running. If you're running to a point where eventually it's just not enjoyable anymore and you realize that you just need to stretch those legs a little bit more and just kind of like get the cadence up and just run a little faster, it's okay. Go for it. I mean, I did. And I think I've done pretty well. What I find very interesting, if you're a recreational runner like I am, and you're looking at what your Maffetone pace is, like where that heart rate lies, and then you're like, well, what if I do this whole zone 2 training and you start to use 220 minus your age? I'm gonna say you're gonna have to watch next week's video, because I'm gonna get into that, because there's a lot of differences and a lot of mistakes, and I'm gonna show you the way that I would do it if I was trying to calculate all of these heart rate zones, because heart rate zones have become a really big thing over the last number of years. And I think that we as runners, we're always looking for that one thing that kind of sets us apart, that makes us special. Oh, we found this amazing hack. Oh, this is like the best thing ever. We're always looking for something. And if you don't have a coach, that can be pretty hard, because, you know, working with a coach is fantastic if you can afford it. But if you can't afford it and you're searching, trying to learn and trying to figure it all out, you know, yeah, you may get stuck on using a particular training plan that maybe doesn't work for you, right? You have to use you as an experiment to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you. And if something's working for you for a long period of time and then you feel like it's getting boring or whatever, okay, maybe time to change it up. Look, you're a recreational runner. It's not like you're going to the Olympics. I mean, yeah, I'm trying to push because I'd like to run a sub 3 one day on a marathon. But is that gonna happen right away? Probably not. It's gonna be hard to do, but you know, it's always nice to have goals to strive for. Maffetone method training is an experiment of one, n equals 1, because trying to get all of your food right, you know, trying to deal with stress. Oh my God, talk about stress. I just came off of being sick. Still not 100%. I filmed this video, thank goodness, before I got sick. And I think in a couple of videos, I'm going to talk about the stress of being sick in running, because I learned a lot by being sick. And I'll show you with regards to heart rate what happens when that happens to you. So be on the outlook for that in the next coming weeks. So like these 2 videos I just spoke about, they'll be coming out, and I think you'll get a lot of benefit from them, because, you know, looking at it without being sick without having a watch attached to me, it's fine. You have all the different feelings that you go through. But I'll tell you, when you're wearing a watch and you see data, then it's kind of like, oh, that's what that means. Okay, yeah, it's pretty fascinating. And if you like the videos, give it a like, give it a subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help me, and it helps the channel, and it helps Google push it out to more people. So I appreciate that. And for all of you guys who have been watching, who have been liking, who have been sharing, yeah, that's another big thing, sharing the video out with people. It's for those of you that have done that, thank you. It really does mean a lot to me. Now, for those of you who have not seen the video that kind of started this whole Maffetone training off that I did a number of years ago, well, here's the video right here. And if you haven't seen it, it may be something that you could take a look at and maybe get inspired to do, or maybe learn something from me. It was, I only had been training using the method for 4 months, but I had some pretty cool results and I wanted to share it with the world. That's a video that started this whole YouTube channel off. Like I always say, get out and run.